What's going on, race fans? It's Jason Turner back again here in the studio. Co-producer over here, Mr. Kyle Painter. Kyle, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, everybody?
We have a banger of a show today. We have finally taken some time to bring in a guest that I've been trying to get on here for recently, last few weeks here at least. Tyler Williams in the house, Speedway former announcer, and a really good friend of mine. Tyler, welcome to the show.
I'm wondering when the 16-time world champion is going to come into the room, because he just played his entrance music.
That's a good thing. Also in the house tonight is co-anchor, co-host, self-proclaimed whatever, Zack Albright, finally getting to grace the studio with his presence.
Hey, what's the best gunslinger you guys can think of? Like,
Brett Favre.
Is it no. Is it Doc Holliday?
No. Barney Fife.
No.
Oh, let me get my bullet.
Doc Holliday?
I would probably say so.
Or,
who's the guy from Gunsmoke? Matt, somebody.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
No, like real life.
Oh, real life gunslinger? Oh, Wyatt Earp.
Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
I'm like the Wyatt Earp of Speedway hot dogs.
Wait, hold on a second.
Dude, I don't know, because
That's
I'm starting to think Terminator, when he swings a shotgun around.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking.
Wyatt Earp never got shot either.
Yeah, no, Wyatt Earp's a real person. The Terminator.
The Terminator is
a two-time late model champion.
I was going to say, are we talking about your dad, or what are we talking about? No, I was just going to say that. Okay, so I'm like the Wyatt Earp, except imagine instead of pistols, I've got two 10-4 wrapped Speedway hot dogs.
slinging them out the concession stand windows.
Champ.
Does that meet the sanitation grade that you're slinging them?
Well, they're already pre-wrapped, so yes.
They are.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
They're pre-wrapped for your convenience to make sure they're warm and toasty.
And safe.
And the buns are perfect.
Knowing this information, I'll get a bologna burger instead.
No, there you go. Well,
insert pre-wrapped wiener joke here. That'll move the conversation right along.
The bologna burgers with grilled onions and cheese, or you could also have one of Zack's hot dogs.
But not like the franchise. My name is Zack. We have to make that clarification.
That's not a franchise.
We have no affiliation with Zack's hot dogs.
But that's not a franchise.
That's just a private business.
That's just a privately owned business.
Okay, yeah, sure. But no sponsorship dollars.
There you go.
Until you buy it. I mean, I've heard it could be for sale.
Really?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Huh.
But
I mean, Zack buy Zack's. From Zack.
There you go.
That's tough.
I will come ask for free food a lot if you bought Zack hot dogs.
And he's going to work with you for like a year or so to like show you everything.
Man.
Not
Not to get off a tangent, but
I think
we're already way too far off base. Somebody bring us back in.
All right, race fans, we had our last race here on July 9th, and we had a pretty good deal. We had, a twin event. So we had late models had the night off. Limiteds showcase tonight with twin
races.
Was it 30s?
No, it's twin 30s.
Yeah, twin 30s.
Yeah, it's twin 30s. I had to think about that for a minute. I don't know why, because
races.
Well, the thing about it is, I watched from the tower. Jackson and I got to poke Danny Willard over the shoulder all night, watching all the races.
That's rare.
Yeah, that is very rare.
See all the races.
That is cool. Very rare. We had a little shortage as far as the employees goes. So if anybody's out there needing a job, wanting a job, check us out at aspeedway.net. There's a place where you can register for employment. Limited late models. Dylan Harville put on a show. Basically just showcasing the talent and the ability of him and that car with the twin wins. Chase Murphy got him a second place finish in the first one, and it was actually cool because I think that race he actually ran the fastest lap of the race, not just his own fastest lap, obviously, but the entire race. And Brandon Sharp coming in with twin third place finishes.
That's right.
That's good for him. He's been out of the seat for a while.
He has, and
Richard Hayden in a one-off got a second place.
Richard Hayden, that was a good show because I actually thought that if we had a late race caution, he might have.
He was driving it. I mean, he was wheeling that thing.
I thought that if there was a late race caution, it was going to be something. I just don't know how he would have hung on the outside. Maybe he'd not taken the cone and hope that he could just kind of be right behind him and chase him down. Maybe tuck inside. Didn't know how that was going to play out, but we kind of had a mid-late race caution where Chase Murphy decided to see if he was going to be able to pole vault over Colby Fogelman
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
That was pretty wild. At first, I thought, man, he broke a shock mount, and then they radioed over that they thought he broke the clip, and I'm like,
Ugh.
well, the thing is that after 2 days afterwards, they got to cleaning the car and they found the clip in decent order, but they broke a shock mount. I was like, usually that's what happens.
Yeah.
But if you didn't come to the racetrack, we had a really large chance of rain early in the week. A lot of people thought we might have probably called it, but the forecast, kind of improved on Friday morning, and we just really wanted to stick it out and get a race in. And so, for those who didn't make it to the to the racetrack, we had a lot of fun. We missed a lot of you, and we really appreciate you coming back. The next race, which will be August 6th, the next July race this coming Friday on the 16th is going to be canceled due to the lack of Hoosier Racing tires in supply. We do not have enough to put on a full-on show, so we had to take what we could get and move to the next show. That's still, one of the things is rare is supply shortages. Luckily, we still have enough fuel. I don't see that being an issue. So we will try again here in August 6th. It'll be a full show, late model stocks, all the way through to the Carolina Nissan Extremes.
Speaking of Nissan Extremes, two in a row.
Two in a row for little bro, Bryson Myers. We still got to get him a wrap on that car. But man, that was a heck of a show, man. Like, I actually watched that as we were turning on. I was flipping on all the stadium lights. Man, I thought that, if Brian Hatch was going to catch these guys in the end, I figured he would have probably stuck his nose in. But come on, Luke Travis and Jonathan Lawrence putting on a heck of a show for 1 and 2 until the last 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah.
And then they had a little three lap green-white checker coming to the end, and little bro was able to pull one out again over now Jonathan Lawrence. Man, that dude is hungry for his first game.
He was trying. He tried so hard.
I think he's going to get one very, very soon, sooner rather than later. So that was good. Mini stocks. Go ahead. What?
I was gonna say, did Bryson ever win a go-kart race or a Bandolero race?
Oh well, Bandoleros we had.
Because I don't remember interviewing him.
I think he only won one Bandolero race, and that was because there was just 3 or 4 there.
But he did win some go-kart races. I just wasn't sure what levels he's all won at so far.
He's won in go-karts. When he had that baby chimp car that's now Jackson's first go-kart.
Got him already.
Yep, got him on one. So we've been pushing him around the racetrack, letting him steer and letting him kind of feel what that's like. It's pretty cool. He likes it. Mini stocks, Michael Tucker, man. That dude just wants me to spend money so bad. We've got a bounty on Michael Tucker now, which is the equivalent of $200.
$200.
It's probably more than you get for
I
winning.
felt like he said it that way.
So $200
$1 million.
$200 for somebody to bring it out of the woods, and best Mr. Tucker, the catches that you cannot wreck him to win.
Oh yeah, of course. That's
Must be cleanly passed or cleanly raced. Chuck Wall getting a 2nd place finish. Mark Wellborn with a twin pack of 3rd place finishes. But Mike Herring getting out of the car after the first race, found an exhaust leak, fixed it, got him some oxygen from our EMT staff, and then went back and still got a 2nd place finish in the 2nd race.
Now, did he get out of the car for his 2nd place interview?
I think he did.
Because Heron always used to get me. If he didn't win the race, 2nd or 3rd, he would stay in the car for his interview, and I used to get on. I'd be like, Mike, you got to get out of the car. But I guess it's a little easier said than done sometimes.
I can't remember who it was, but somebody did stay in that car.
Monk Tate used to stay in his car for interviews. He wouldn't get out. So.
Yeah, that dude, he was, which I think he was even dizzy after that. I spoke to him yesterday. I called him this morning, and I talked to him for a little bit, asked him how he was feeling, how he was doing. He said he's pretty good. He was drinking coffee this morning and getting ready for his day, so he was, still in good form. Modifieds. Gary Causey winning, Gary Young Jr. in 2nd. I thought that, our trend was going to hold out a little bit, and Todd Massey get him another win. But man, he's 4 for 6 now. He's let us down the last 2 races with that Ford every time he shows up.
Said he missed the setup just a little bit.
Yep. He was loose coming off of turn 4 a lot, but he had run him down. I think it was about a 4-lap run where he was gaining on him and 2/10 a lap.
Yeah, he said his car was loose, so he needed a long run to sort of tighten it up.
Yeah.
But obviously that caution coming out toward the end just killed him.
Yeah, that killed him, and it got to where he was within a car length and from what I remember, he backed off to like 4 or 5 car lengths back, I believe. And
Gary Young did everything he could to get by. He was driving so hard, everything he could do.
If Gary's breathing, he's driving
That's
hard.
right.
I've never, maybe on a pace lap, I've seen him not drive hard. That dude is just, he's you can
Wide
tell.
open.
Yeah, he ain't no conserve in Gary Young Jr. I mean, I'm telling you, that dude's wide open every single minute.
do you remember all the battles that him and Brad Allen used to put on?
I did. I remember that front stretch feud in 2008 when him and Brad got out and had an awful wanted to have an awful long discussion about things. I've seen Gary get into it with a few people, but I think he's one of those people that's like, you're not really gonna feel indifferent about him. You're either gonna really like him or you're gonna think he's I don't like him, but I mean, give the guy credit. He ain't just going over there and riding around. I mean, even if he ain't got the winning car, he's gonna drive that thing like 3 car lengths deep. I remember when him and Burt Myers got into it one night at Ace in the Mountains.
Now, I remember one of the ones I remember was hilarious. It was a twin night. First night, first race. Him and Brad Allen and Gary Young Jr. They got into it. They're battling for the lead, and obviously the modifieds are open wheels, so they can kind of connect wheels from time to time. Well, it knocked Brad's toe in big, and he comes in. He can't steer it. It's tight as all get out.
Oh, I know. I remember this.
So he comes in. This is hilarious. Tyler and I, we swap stories a lot, so he knows where we're going with this. But Brad had a friend named Neil that always used to help on a race car. And Neil's an awesome dude, but I think in a hurry, they're trying to measure the tape off of the clip rail to kind of get it, pretty close anyways, at least drivable. And first thing Neil yells out is, "Who can read this thing?" But Neil's a really good guy. It was just kind of in a hurry. I think he probably just didn't have his glasses or something like that. But it was pretty funny. We cracked the bolts loose on everything, cracked the nuts loose, and spun it out a little bit to give him a little straighter of a wheel and jam it back tight and set it back out. He still salvaged a pretty good finish. And then I think in the second race he comes in. Something else had happened. He's madder than all get out, and he tries to drive that son of a gun up in the trailer. And
was it JW asked him what was wrong with it?
He gets out of the car. No, he didn't ask him what was wrong with the car. No, he did. Yeah, he said, "What's wrong with the car?" He said, "It's not in the trailer." So
he could be an emotional guy.
Yeah,
they all can, man. I ain't never
when
seen
you get out of the car. It's a whole different ballgame.
You need that cool down period.
Yeah, you need about a 2-lap cool down just to get. That's why they do that in Cup Series, I think. Let everybody cool down a little bit.
Yeah, and sometimes they're still not cooled down.
No, Southern Ground Pounders, man, those guys got to come out. Mr. Kevin Flores, get him a win. That was pretty big, but what was even bigger, I think, was the fact that, I thought that Jimmy Rice was going to come out and have the race won in that brand new looking 98 car. Good.
Oh, that thing was good.
That thing
So
was
good.
awesome looking. Brand new, good throwback looking scheme.
It
Man.
sort of looked like the old gray ghost of Buddy Baker.
Yep.
Similar.
I don't know if that's what.
Except it was a Ford.
Yep. So
His was an Oldsmobile, I think.
did they do that to kind of throw back to that?
Not a clue.
No. Yeah, I have no idea on that, but it looked really good.
Are you talking about Jimmy Rice's car?
Yeah.
That was a 57 Chevrolet.
I think you're saying the paint scheme.
We're talking
Which one?
about scheme.
The paint scheme
Do we-
was thrown
Not
back
the
to
maker.
Greg.
Who were we talking about with the Gray Ghost though? Because I don't know.
That was Buddy Baker drove the Great Ghost.
No, I know that.
Dale Jr. did a throwback to it.
So you're saying Jimmy Rice was the Bel Air.
Jimmy Rice was the Bel Air.
Oh,
So
okay.
who drove the 98? The Bel Air looked really good too.
I thought Jimmy was in the 98.
Yeah, his car's number 98.
Yeah.
is it not?
His car's always in the 98.
It was either 98
Because
or
he used to have the yellow car.
Yeah, it used to have the
That was what the Falcon
I don't know.
Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, anyways,
we were
those-
mashing two drivers up. That's why I was like, wait a second. Yeah, that car was beautiful when they finished it, and it looked like they had to form the fenders out a little bit. It looks like it was maybe bottoming out a little bit, but
Well, Jimmy's quite the craftsman when it comes to a lot of that stuff. So he can fabricate a lot of cool stuff. I've seen him work with leather and all kind of wild stuff. You'd never think that somebody who could weld or work with steel like that would have the ability or the know-how to just work with leather also. But that dude has just been.
Just a true craftsman.
He's just good with his hands, man.
Yep, it happens like that. But yeah, he got in a contact with Tony Ross on the track.
yeah, I'm not sure if something led to that or not. But I think
Well,
the 23 got
It looked
up.
like they were trying, from the tower, it looks like they were trying to occupy the same amount of real estate, which is obviously what causes a collision.
Yeah.
But, when they're side by side going into the corner, somebody's either got to give or somebody's getting sent.
I mean, if you're a driver at this point, you just got to say, spotter didn't clear me.
Yeah, well, I
doubt they have spotters, though.
Yeah.
no, I think they do.
Do they?
It depends. I guess it depends.
I think some do, maybe some don't.
But I think that's exactly what happened, is that he didn't get cleared.
Right.
All I know is the video that I think Trey Bledsoe posted, it did not look like it wasn't a pretty sight.
Oh, no,
I'm glad Jimmy was okay.
It looked like he was.
But there wasn't a bad looking car among them.
No.
It's like all those
not
cars
really.
looked really good.
I really
take care
liked
of those
that Mach 1 Mustang.
Yeah.
What is it, like a
Number
70?
68.
It's like a 71 or 72 Mustang,
Mhm.
probably. Really nice looking car. And he was coming. I don't know where he
He
ended
started
up.
in the rear.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
coming. I don't know where he finished at, but he was coming. And even my mom, who doesn't really care for racing at all, she was like, I think I like these cars.
Well, they come to the racetrack twice a year. They'll be back for the Rodney Cook Classic in October. That weekend is October 22nd and 23rd, Friday and Saturday show. The Friday will be parking and testing. We'll have qualifying on Saturday morning, another round of testing that morning also, and look forward to having a really big show with the Smart Tour coming in.
Now, I'm about to say, yeah, that's going to be.
A big double
It's gonna
header.
be-
And that's the
It's good to
same
have that
day
back.
as the Rodney Cook. Or is it the prelude?
It's part of the Rodney Cook Classic,
Wow.
October 22nd.
Wow, that's a big show.
That's a big
That's
deal.
show. What's the entry for our fans listening? What's the entry price on?
That's a $30 ticket for adults. Kids will be $10, 6 to 12.
But
Kids at 5 under should be free.
two very good races.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you're
always
up?
good shows?
Most times you would pay that $30 just for one of those classes, like if you went to any other track to see them. So I mean,
Yeah.
You're getting a pretty good value, pretty good bang for the buck, because they run, 99 laps. Late model stocks will run 140, plus we'll have A Speedway Limiteds.
If you're born on leap year and you're 4 years old, you get in for free.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Hey, I've never had anything like that.
Yeah.
I've had some things come up in the last few years, but not that. That's something.
Yeah. Why did my mind snap to that? I don't know.
I don't know, but that's
But
hilarious.
you could be like, what, 80 years
I
old
mean,
or
I've
something?
seen people
and
try
you're
to pull
four.
that trick before. I mean, it does happen.
So that was July 9th in a nutshell. Really, I really think that the rain kind of really killed us on that one. We tried to make the best decision possible given the circumstances, but when the forecast showed that it was clear, we did all we could, man. We advertised it, we shared on social media, we tried everything we could to get a salvage night out of that deal, but we still didn't do too bad. We still had a lot of fans. We still had a decent amount of people sitting through 3 and 4, and several on the backstretch that they sitting up high. They were getting pretty close together, so still turned out to be a good night at the famous 410 Smile. But
So I drove through 3 storms to get there, and that's why when I got here, I took a picture and been like, "Hey, look, there's
Yeah.
the sun is out here.
I
It's
think
really
that's
really actually here."
that is a time
When it
where
was bone dry.
I've never seen
Yeah.
that before. Usually it's bone dry everywhere but the track.
That's right.
So
Did I ever tell you
it's
what-
quite opposite.
Did I ever tell you what Leon Setzer said about rain on race day?
Well, I can tell you some stories about that.
Well, yeah,
Go ahead.
I know the story you're thinking of. I think I don't know who it was that related to it. It might have been Tomar told me. He said Leon said, "I'd rather it rain at the racetrack than rain at the house." He said because if it's raining at the house,
They don't
usually
come.
they won't leave the house to come to the racetrack.
That's right.
And then Darrell Waltrip had the whole thing about
The vortex.
Sometimes-
well, no, he had one also that said if you're a farmer and needs to plant crops, plant them at a racetrack because it's guaranteed to get some kind of rain.
That's pretty good. I miss DW, man, calling the races.
Yeah.
They get him back now. Now that Gordon's gone.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
what.
Just plug him back
I've
in.
been at A Speedway. I've been at A Speedway when it stormed to the point where we should not have been there. So I can appreciate you guys making an informed call on that, but I think everybody remembers the storm of what was that 99 or something where it hailed like baseballs out
I
there.
think it was 99.
It
Dad
was-
had a brand new dually, like 98 or whatever. And it
it was some-
roof, it was quarters, it was hood.
The insurance companies hated them phone calls on Monday morning.
South Boston had a tornado like 3 or 4 years ago. Remember that?
Mm.
They were like they had everybody there practicing, and it was
Yeah.
just like a really random like supercell that kind of just popped up, and it like it did a lot of damage, and everybody was there.
So those pop-up tents that people put the cars under, they got lifted up and they were smacking the sides of trailers. Like, it was insane.
We had that happen, like, pretty much, every Rodney Cook Classic we've ever had. It's either been a hurricane, a snow, power outage.
Yeah, the power got knocked down.
Good God. Hurricane Michael, a couple of years ago, came through, knocked out the power, made it rain. I mean, it was a Thursday, and it was just throwing a haymaker. Power down the street at some kind of substation was out, and they had to go replace some kind of device inside that station to restore power. And I think it was Sunday before they found it and fixed it and told us, power will be on by 12. And I was like, thank God. We waited for church to get out and we cranked up and go. But man, that was a big story there. So add that to the list of stories. We had everything running on generator power. Freezers, air compressors, lights, you name it. And we just threw in an extra day of testing and let people get ready. But man, that was something else. I've never seen so many generators run in their place before, but we made it happen. But speaking of stories, Tyler, you've got a story, and this is crazy because you spend a lot of your time trying to tell everybody else's story, and nobody's really taking the time to catalog your story. So you
might be a reason for that.
So take us back. I guess where it all starts is what developed you into being a race fan? What made you like racing at the beginning?
I blame my grandpa Whitehead. I was born in 88. A Speedway was paved over the off season 89 going into 90. And according to my grandpa took me over when they did testing. And then from as far back as I could remember, like 5-6 years old, the Friday night ritual was I would get out of school at Grove Park Elementary, or for a couple of years I went to Christian school before me and Jeff Button got ran over there, I think the same year.
Oh God, take a step back real quick. So when you're talking about going to the repave, you're like 2.
Well, that was the initial pave, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're like 2 at that time. So you got to take
1991.
I thought it was 90.
That was just my Shawshank mix. So it was 1991.
Well, see, that's what I was told. That, and at the time, also my uncle Mike owned part of Richard Bailey's Modified. So I'm guessing maybe, I don't know if we went down in the infield, and I don't have a picture to prove it. It's just a famous story, but. I mean, everything from the age of 5 on, the Friday night ritual was get out of school, go over to Grandpa's house. We'd sit there till about maybe 4:30 or so, and then we would ride to Squaw Valley over there in East Burlington, and we would pick up a family friend whose name was Marty. And Marty, his last name was Newell. We'd pick up Marty Newell. Then we'd ride over to A Speedway. We'd get there about 5:30 or so. So obviously there in plenty of time. Practice hadn't started yet. Get there. My grandpa would give me some money. He'd go get our seats. I would get his food and I'd get my food. And I always got 2 plain hot dogs with a fry and a drink. He got a bologna burger.
Back then that probably cost
things have changed.
They have.
That was $3 or something.
Heck no. And that was our Friday night ritual. So then we'd get up there and we'd watch practice. And then at some point halfway through the night, I always remember he'd give me like $5 and I could go down to the souvenirs and I could, $5 was about enough to maybe get you 1 car, maybe 2 if you had a discount. And I bought a car almost every Friday night. And then if something had happened the week before, my grandpa would give me a little more money to go buy the VHS tape so that we could play the VHS
from the week before.
And that was a Friday night ritual. That was every Friday up until 2002. That was when that kind of came to an end. But it was just every Friday night you knew you were going to be at A Speedway.
It's funny that you bring up the souvenir stand because we were just talking about this when we all took the trip to South Boston. South Boston has got the best racing souvenir store I've ever seen. And I told my cousin's wife, I said, I'm 32 years old and I want every diecast.
Are they the only racetrack left that still has a souvenir stand like
They
that?
So let's.
You don't really see many of them.
If you're tuned in watching this now, we'd like to hear from you. Should A Speedway bring back the souvenir stand?
Put that in the comments below at this point. Let us know. Let A Speedway know
we want to hear
what your
from
thoughts
you.
are.
Yeah, we want to hear from you because I did the exact same thing. Almost your entire story was exactly how I came up at Ace Speedway.
Wow.
Except I came to the stands by myself because
Yeah, your dad was.
my dad was in the pit, so I would get dropped off on the pit entry road. I would walk in the gate probably around 4:30. Nobody's at the gate, so I went and sat in the corner of turn 4 grandstand.
So you got free tickets?
Yes, sir. I probably owe the track
Yeah, I
quite
was
a
gonna
bit.
say, how about that now?
You owe the other turners some money. Yeah.
With interest.
With interest. And
But it's
then-
funny. I don't know about you. But we sat in the same seat every
Yeah,
Friday.
we did too.
I have not sat there.
Did you guys get there early to reserve said seats?
Well, I think part of it was that, and part of it was my grandpa wanted to. That was his supper. That was our supper. So we would go ahead and eat supper before practice. I don't know why we couldn't eat during practice. And then when my grandma would not get there until she would get there about 7:00ish. She didn't want to watch practice, but she did want to watch qualifying. So she would come in, buy a Larry Tomar program, come up there, and she always had a pen with her, and she, to a T, almost every Friday, she wrote down qualifying times. It was every Friday. That was just what she did. And then at some point in the night, she would go get nachos with jalapenos, and I would try to be a man and eat the jalapeno, and then I'd burn my mouth, and my grandpa would laugh at me. My grandpa would not offer assistance. He would just laugh at you. That was just who he was. But
So
that was the whole thing.
you sat in turn 4.
No,
Or he set
front
below tower.
stretch. If you're in the tower, I'm to the left, just past the first rail.
Okay, so just past like the flag stand and
Yeah.
oh, you mean the first rail that goes in between the
Yeah.
two seats? Okay.
Yeah, like if we stood up on the top, we could, like Larry Tomar would see us. He would call my uncle out.
So if you stood up and turned around, you could throw a hot dog at Zack.
Yeah, exactly.
No chance. No chance. It's uphill. No chance. But
We could at least fling it.
it's like he said, you got dinner. If you had enough, you went and got the the souvenir car, which my son inherited all of them. So it's that was part of the experience, though.
Oh yeah.
That was part of the experience. If I was lucky, I got 2 things of fries that night.
I tell you what,
You know what I mean?
I made him mad one Friday. I remember he gave me a little bit of money, and I went and got an Ace Speedway hat. This was maybe 99 I think it was 99, and I got this gray hat that I guess was on a discount. So I was like, yeah, hey, this hat was only $5. So he gave me a $20 bill to go get another one. I came back with a black Ace Speedway hat with a checkerboard across it with $2 and change off a $20 bill.
Oh,
so the hat I bought after he gave me money was a little more expensive. And I remember he was like, what happened to that $5 hat, boy?